How am I to imagine this invisible toga? Choose the subtle garb you wish to don carefully. Look at every detail. Create a beautiful robe which suits you well and emphasizes the essence of your being. The clothes you wear, not just the physical, but the spiritual ones as well, are a part of your personality. Popular wisdom quite rightly says. Clothes make the man. This also applies to the dress of your soul. You will see. In a choice costume, you become a completely different person. Your garb should be worthy and reflect your high position. On the other hand, it must be practically suited for a spiritual fighter. We like simple and comfortable garments that do not impede our work. Maybe you imagine a cape like that of a knight, which you can throw off at any time. Here are some examples. Your toga should carry the sign Community of Maitreya at the place of the heart. When choosing your supermundane clothes, also think of your great role model, your spiritual father. At all times, the great spiritual teachers have also been recognized by their special garments already on earth, and, of course, all the more in the higher world. Likewise, you too must be recognizable to all the world as the disciple of a sage or the crown prince of a king. What is the purpose of this exercise? The idea alone of being dressed in a noble gown will induce you to behave worthily. As a king wears his crown, or an officer his uniform with pride and dignity, so the invisible toga compels you to maintain, in all, even the worst circumstances, the attitude which corresponds to your ideal. In solemn clothes, coarse, impure thoughts, words, or deeds are forbidden by themselves. During the mystery rites, the priestesses were so deeply enwrapped in an almost invisible veil that they ceased to hear and to see, as if the thread of existence had been severed. It was a kind of purification in an atmosphere full of turmoil. The world rightly expects something special from you when you appear in official dress. You will not want to disappoint that expectation. Like a uniform, the toga gives you strength, fortifies the consciousness of your high position, and removes the personal aspects from your life. In the hectic hustle and bustle of everyday life, you tend to easily to forget the essential, the subtle reality, your eternal identity, and your mission on earth. The virtual tunic reminds you of all that. It helps you to put into practice that to which you are committed above all else. To remain true to your ideal. Or, scientifically speaking, to assert the higher reality, your existence as an immortal, a disciple, or a king of the spirit in the face of material life. You will find out it is a pleasure and an honor to be able to appear in a majestic garment. An exquisite robe elevates you. We have already remarked this when viewing the painting of Nicholas Roerich as Dalai Lama. This is true as well, even if the clothes are worn only in spirit. It is up to you alone how you present yourself to the outside world. Rejoice in yourself. Do you not prefer to look great, strong, and beautiful, rather than small, weak, and ugly? Gottfried Keller's novel Clothes Make the Man tells the story of the simple tailor apprentice Wenzel Strapinski, who, despite his great poverty, comes along dressed in exquisite attire. In a foreign city, because of his distinguished appearance, he is considered a count, which allows him to marry a rich heiress and eventually to gain prosperity and reputation. What does that story teach us? You, too, can make it as far as a count or even a king, if only you appear like one on the stage of the world. And that includes if you are dressed accordingly. Your outward appearance, the way you present yourself, contribute decisively to your success among your fellow human beings. And this is true not only on the material level, but in the subtle world as well. Once again, we realize it actually does not matter whether you are wearing a toga physically or whether you just imagine that you are. The result is the same. You are compelled to behave worthy of your clothing. Both the physical and the virtual dress is a help to remind you of your true inner greatness. It is a stepladder to a royal appearance. Just do not think that the invisible toga is merely an illusion, a fantasy. When you consolidate it in your thought, it becomes a spiritual, a subtle reality, which is no less real and effective than a material one. Although the dress is not visible, its spiritual existence will be felt by anyone you encounter. Agni Yoga says, saturating space with intensified thought, we clothe aspects of our striving with a particular figure. Thus, Out of elemental matter we create the desired image. This creation remains near the place where it was created, fortified by our thoughts. The eye of a child or a refined consciousness can perceive this formation. However, do not deceive yourself. The outward costume alone is only a lie, hypocrisy, if it does not reflect an inner greatness. The essential, therefore, is to educate your soul and to let it grow. Only then will the invisible toga correspond to your true nature. And then your radiance clothes you in a beautiful robe of light anyway. Can you give an example from today's time? I still remember the time when priests, monks and nuns appeared in public in their clerical garments. In some southern European countries, you can still see the popes in their official attire on the streets. Unfortunately, this beautiful custom has largely been abolished in our regions. The black frock makes it clear to everyone. One has a clergyman before oneself, who leads a life according to higher principles, to whom you must not offer any alcohol, meat, cigarettes or sweets, to whom you may turn for spiritual guidance or counsel, in whose presence you have to pull yourself together and behave properly. The costume helps its wearer not to forget himself, and always, especially in public, to act as a worthy representative of his office. So dressed, he will not say or do anything that undermines the confidence in his high position. In addition, the cloak has a wholesome and uplifting effect on the environment as well. We do not want to make a fool of ourselves, and as Westerners go public with a turban and kaftan in a Western city. Nevertheless, I am waiting with longing for the time when it will again be common practice to take to the streets in the white philosopher's coat. As long as this is not possible, the few spiritually minded ones cannot help but to create a choice garb in their imagination and to appear on the stage of the world with the corresponding dignity. You are the first new man and the only man of spirit in your town. This must also be recognizable from your subtle clothes. Could you give an example for such a situation? It is known that Mahatma Kutumi studied at the University of Leipzig for some time in the 1870s. He will not have distinguished himself outwardly from all the other students. Recall that a saint revered by you could not be distinguished outwardly by the eye of the newcomers. Outwardly, our messengers do not differ from the crowd. But you can imagine that Mahatma Kutumi walked the streets of Leipzig with the same highness and dignity as if he had worn the white cloak of the Brotherhood. Similarly, when you are wearing the invisible toga, you express a higher reality. You are the incarnation of a disciple.